Okay, right, let's change this background music. Let's go here. All right. So, NQ. Looking for a short. No sound. Can anyone else confirm? Low volume, I can turn it up. Is that any better? Hello? Is that better, Felix? Okay, let me just turn. I don't want to be too loud and blow people's ears out. Okay, so we've obviously we've now I've put the colours on just to kind of make it easy. So this is the 15-second chart, right? We are expecting our high to be put in. We're expecting this low to go. 15-second needs to come over the 0 line. And I might be interested. Obviously, caught this trade down here. I just took it to the lows. Obviously, if I'd have used the 15-second, I could have trailed it a bit further. Just get a bit tighter. Let's see. Right, so there's our low. So let me increase the size of this. Okay, so what this is showing us now, obviously when we break this low, if we're bearish, hang on, I need to change this to be 1 hour. We'll go into 6 segments just for now, just so that we're matching on this. So obviously if we take this low, what we're looking for is to confirm our bearish direction. With everything else. Afternoon. Ignore the bias for now. Still in beta. How is everybody? So there goes our low. I'm expecting us to come down further. I don't know if you saw my market video this morning. Obviously this is where we came down to. We've been in a corrective phase, right? Let me just highlight these. We're going up a time frame. So we've been bearish, right? A higher time frame's bearish, and then we've been in a corrective phase here. So obviously, when your sequence goes into a corrective phase of a higher time frame bearish, that's basically what you're showing you is that we've been bearish and we're now corrective or we're bullish in a higher time frame bearish market, and your trend AI is going to show you what? We're still bullish, we're still bullish, we're still bullish. Now we're transitioning. So this is where now we might get that continuation of the higher time frame. So that's why trend AI is so important, because it just helps you know, like if you're expecting this to drop, at what point can we expect that to happen? Well, right now, if we're going to do it, we'll start to see that potentially happen. It can take a bit of time to play out, but we're now in that position where we're looking for shorts, really, and be looking for that payday setup. So could see some good opportunities come in. We're already seeing price drop. 15-second, you can see it's starting to come under. As I said to you, I was expecting a short here. We haven't got. We might go without even getting a chance to get in. We'll see. Obviously, we want to see the 1 minute starting to see the trends now gone strong. So we have that nice strong bearish trend. Our hourly is here. We can see that there's a 48% probability. At the moment, this is our high. And I'm not going to jump in the trade just because I think it goes down. I want to see everything align. It's okay if it goes without us. Obviously, we've already had a good trade here. It was over pretty quickly before he even really got a chance. I actually got in about here, just at the top of that candle. So obviously we can see that the hourly we switched bearish as well, right? So we're bullish in this hour. This is the low, so we always do our candle structure, market structure, right? We take the low. So if we're going to go bearish, we have to be breaking lows of candles. So we break the low of the hourly candle. That gives us confirmation. We got our data aligned. We got our transition. We go onto the zero line. We had Algo on our side as well. All confluences. Thank you very much. How are you enjoying the new update? Is it confusing a bit, or are you starting to kind of this make life a little bit easier? Right? It's just doing those calculations for you, both from a bullish, both from a bearish point of view. So obviously if you get a sell signal, you're just looking at the bearish possibilities. Ignore the bullish. Just saves you the quick math. Also, one of the things that you can do, see how you've got all these sequences? Well, I can increase this to 10 without it taking up loads of space, which means it's going to be more... Oh, I've done the wrong one. See how that's taken up everything? So I can... Yeah, I can increase that to 10. Remove my results table. And now it's giving me an, even more up-to-date, more accurate of right now where we are, what the probabilities are. So right now, this high is 53.45% our high. Why is it our high? Because obviously we've been taking lows, so we've been going down. We took the low here. This was our lowest point when we started. That's an early indication. We're below. We've got a strong bearish trend. We don't have huge probability on the algo, but we do have a 62% probability of being bearish. How is everyone? Have a nice weekend. Not going to be too much of a marathon on this stream. Obviously got elections tomorrow, so obviously good luck to everyone. Is there anything you want me to look at? Anything you want to go through? So you can see that this is updated now, right? I don't need to keep doing this, but I will for this hour. Yeah. Probabilities are going up. Hey, hey. Certainly. I'll obviously... T-Bone can have a look as well. See if I can, if it's something I can answer now. Wow, there's a lot of questions in support. Hang on. Where is it? Where's your question? Is it under the support section? Lights on. That's sorry, buddy. Just to make sure I understand, the return to open here, the algo shows us that segment 3, if the low is past hour is taken, we might have a 90% probability can retrace to the open. Yeah, we can cover the new indicator as well. There was a beautiful example of it playing out. Obviously, right now we are we're still putting together kind of. It was a very, very quick, useful data. So right now, obviously we're expecting bearish, right? 63% probability this is our high, 83% probability this is our low. With 15 minutes at the low here, would have liked a little bit more time of price taking this low to give us a bit more confirmation, but we will see. Obviously we're blue, we're not red, so that's not on our side as well. We're still under, but yeah. Let's just have a look at our return to open. Okay. Thinking about 1-to-1. But I also want to explain this this data for you. Obviously from here, you see there's our 1-to-1, right? Okay, so what the so very simply put, obviously what with this new indicator, which is the return to open, is basically just tracking in an hour or any time frame that you select. After we take the previous period, so if it's an hour, the previous hour's high or low, or if it's a 3 hour, the previous 3 hours high or low, what's the probability of returning back to the open of that hour, right? So for example, right now, I've got it set to the 5 hour, okay? So there's our 5 hour open. There's our previous 5 hour low, which is what I marked on in my beginning video, right? So we tag that and return to the open on the 5 hour, which was very interesting. And you can see if we've got 5 segments, that means we've got 5 hours. So segment 1, segment 2, segment 3, segment 4. So obviously if I go up data, because I'm using a 5 hour, I could do with having some more data. So let's go up to the 30 minutes. Let me just hide V1 so we don't get all those lines. So now we can see if we're bearish and if we take the low in segment 4, that there's a 50% probability of coming back to the open. So based on obviously all the data, the 341 times overall, there was a 71% probability on the 5 hour that if we take the low, we come back. And you can see obviously where in those time periods when we did it, how likely it was to return, right? So let's just bring this down to the hourly now. Oh, sorry. Bring on my hourly. So obviously our hourly low's down here. So for us to, get that stat in place, we'd have to take that low. So there are variables in it, okay? What I wanted to do was to say, when we take the low, not just overall, but when we take the low, how does that give us it? So the later in the hour, does the probability drop? Does it, when's our optimum time to take it? So that's what this gives you. So right now, 6 segments in an hour is 10 minutes. So basically it can show you that if we take the high or low, the statistical probability for you. And as you can see, as we get later in the hour, that probability drops. Which makes sense, right? But what it does, where I'm kind of seeing this as being really helpful, is let's say, for example, when we take the high, we then confirm we're expecting, like, that's it, like our high's in, right? So right now there's a 74% probability we're expecting that to be our high, and there's a 78% probability we're expecting price to go lower, right? Well, let's say we take the previous hour's low, we know there's a high probability of us getting a retracement and getting a better price to get in to then take that trade. So for me, it's not just about playing the retracement trade, it's about getting what's the probability of me getting a better entry, right? What's the probability? So if it comes down and takes it earlier on and my statistics are in my favor, the probability of me coming back and getting my 1-to-1 is very, very high. So I don't want to jump in a trade. I want to wait and pull it back, right? As you can see here in this hour, we get a very, very strong push down. Obviously, we take the low and we don't retrace to the open. And that is because a lot of the times when you're trading your strong sequence ones and your strong, and this is where Max Algo it is a new indicator. Yeah, they've just added on for you. So this is where in the future Max Algo is going to be different to everybody else. Is right now we just define the market in one straight statistic. Good morning. And the power of the algo, what it does for you is it actually already defines what market condition you are in. So are you in a strong, and we don't have a strong, but a strong bearish move? Therefore, if you are, statistically, what's the probability of returning to the open? I can already tell you with some of those algos, it's unlikely, because that's when we get those big pushes where price just doesn't come back. So we're in the long term, when we give you statistics, it will be based around the current price action. Like, statistics are great unless the current price action doesn't match, right? So how many times has NQ just gone on a run and it just doesn't stop, right? And people are shorting and shorting and shorting and shorting and shorting and shorting and shorting, right? Yes, it is set for the 1 hour at the moment. Let me just double check. Now, yeah, 1 hour. So you can then see, like, if we've got a sequence 1 of a strong bullish trend in a higher time frame bullish, then we are expecting that type of price action, right? We're expecting it to just keep going, keep going. So long term, the algo will also then define, it will capture the statistics around that type of price action. It shows different stats for you. Okay. Number of candles. Obviously, it's based on capturing previous data. I'm on the 1 minute. Premium on trading view. So obviously, it increases the amount of candles that are in view. Have you got 95? I'm on MNQ as well, not NQ. But we'll see whether we can get some examples of this. So now, obviously, you know, like I've got my stats here. I don't have to calculate them. It's all done for me. I can make sure that I'm taking trades with, with probability on my side. So if I want to take a 1-to-1, I want the low. If I'm targeting the low, I want my statistic to be above 50%, right? Because then statistically, it's in my favor. So right now here, right? It'd be nice if we were taking the low a little bit later. Obviously, we took the last candle we took was the 14-minute. So we do have a statistical edge that this is our high. Our algo confirming bearish. I have 59. Yeah, it is. That's why. Yeah, I've got 95 candles and 106. It's just go up time frames. Do you know what I mean? Like if you, as long as this number of Y, it might be your trading view plan. What trading view plan do you have? As you increase trading view plans, you get more bars. At the end of the day, it's all about data collected, right? So if we go up to, so we know that obviously we're splitting an hour into 10 minutes. So if we go up to the 5-minute, that's not a problem. We'll collect that data. So we've now got 521 hours where we broke the high and the low, right? And you can then see, 62% overall. But we can see in that first two sections, statistically, it's in our favor until the last segment. Makes sense, right? In our last segment on the hourly data, high and lows, we see those lows being put in. Or highs put in, sorry, during this point. So kind of makes sense. Plus plan. I don't know, mate. I don't know if that's difference, but either way, mate, the data's correct. It's just you got different number of candles. That's a trading view thing. I'd be worried if you had exactly the same totals as me and the data was different. But if the totals are different, it's just how many candles it's pulled back. So we can then obviously, this is giving us premium gets more candles and plus fan. There we go. So this 1 minute has just dribbled, right? So we've got, has the hours changed in New York? Is it back to, is New York open now? Is this New York open? Yeah. When do the New York when do your clocks change? It's not for another week, is it? End of this week? No. Ah, it's changed already. Well, something's not right. Oh, does that mean from now on New York's at 1:30 in the UK? Because normally New York's at 2:30 here. So it's back to 2:30 again. Is that right? So we got another hour till New York. I'm jumping on. Used to doing it at 1:30. We got another hour. I'm well early. So this was a great trade. obviously from my point of view, I just had everything starting to align, right? Starting to go, we're going under. Here, we take the low. We had a high probability of being, we had like an 80-90% probability of closing bearish. This was starting to bend down. Transitioned. I was liking it. I'm coming up towards that zero line. You can see. Will we make it? So right now, if we are going to go bearish, there's an 81% probability that this is our high. And we still have 73%. We still have 73% probability of putting in a new low. $15 seconds still above. 30 seconds gone above, which means I don't like it. Wait and see. Be interested to see whether this was a drop down and then we flip bullish for New York. That'll be interesting. We can have whatever bias we want on the higher time frames. We can think whatever we want. The beauty is that the hourly has to change and has to match to make that happen, right? If we think the day is going to go bullish, then at some point the hourly's got to go bullish so the day can go bullish. So it's like that kind of, it's our last straw. It's kind of like we can have all the analysis we want, but then we just wait for that hourly to come in line. So obviously we've had a few updates. Obviously the automatic calculations for you. It's still important that obviously you're waiting for your bias to be confirmed with your buy and sell signals. If you're, not as confident on calculating the data and where you are with it, those confirm it for you, right? Each pair can have a different, obviously we've got different statistics. CL obviously has a much higher statistic early on. So we can see right now, obviously we get a bearish. Let me just get rid of those so they don't get in the way. We get a bearish signal. So statistically right now, we're at 50%. We took the low. There's the open. Right, we've returned to the open. We're bullish. We don't like that, obviously, on our trend AI. But using just kind of statistical data, then our algo is slightly in favour. It's not favourable this all around, but just looking at the probabilities, there's an 85%. This is the high for the hour, right? And there's still a 73% probability that there's still a low to come. So from a one-to-one point of view, if we were to take this trade, then we would expect, we're going to see that one-to-one play out, right? So we could have had that limit order. We obviously take the low here. We do return to the high. We do return to the open straight away. So that's given. So there's no guarantee that this is going to come back after we've already visited it. But we get our retracement because we are in corrective bullish. Corrective bullish means corrective price action. Right? The algo doesn't just predict what's going to happen. It predicts what expected price you're expecting. Corrective, which means we are expecting to correct, and then as long as our trend AI is showing us, we expect to carry on, right? To continue with the trend. So the algo is helping to not just tell you what probability, but what you can expect the hour, or what you can expect that time period you selected to potentially be like. Coming up to that high on NQ. We're going to take it. Are we going to take it? Obviously, all the lower time frames are looking very bullish. 15 seconds, 30 seconds. They're all coming up and above. Feels very much like, obviously, we haven't got anything yet to say that we're not going to continue. Again, that's why even though when we had all this data, we were blue, right? We hadn't shown any weakness in that potentially yet was the time to jump in on that trade. Here, we had everything, all aligning. Might get the drop again in an hour or so, but just about being patient. Will it play out? Be surprised if that high stays. Remember, guys, if we want to have a look at anything, we can look at. Obviously, today there's a lot of stuff going on, right? A lot of people aren't trading. A lot of people are waiting for the markets. Tomorrow, I won't be live or trading. Obviously, I think it's an important day. More important things to focus on. And then probably Wednesday as well. I'll probably do the same. Just let it have a day. And then Thursday, Friday, I'll be back on, and we'll be pushing towards looking for some trades and going live again. Today, had one good trade. See if we can grab another. We'll see. Going to be really picky. So if you have any questions, you want to look at pairs, cover any questions, anything you want to look at, settings, explanations, we can do that. I hope you've had a good day though so far. Oh, a little early. I'm an hour early. An hour early. Copper. HG, is it? Did you say? Yes, we're in a sequence 1. Again, we are against the higher time frame, so we always want to look at that as well. We are transitioning. So obviously, right now, we're bearish, yeah? So if we're bearish, what can the algo do? So obviously, the higher time frame's been bullish, yeah? Higher time frame's been bullish. We're now in a higher time frame bullish still, so we're still bullish. Either we can go corrective bearish, which means we start correcting back up, not super clean like these, but just corrective, and then flip back bullish and we carry on that trend. Or the higher time frame trend can end and this bearish trend carries on down and flips the higher time frame to bearish, and then we get that flip. Now, what are we expecting? While trend AI is very strong, we expect any trend to potentially come back to the higher time frame, bullish. Only when we transition do we expect, okay, now we've transitioned, now we've got the kind of time frame with us. Now potentially we can expect more deeper price action, right? So like here, transition, now we're strong, now we can expect that price action. Yeah. We've taken this low, so obviously bearish we expect. Be interesting to see how this plays out on copper. I've never had a look at copper stats. Let me just have a look at copper stats before I go to Euro USD. Let me just get rid of return to open. Make this a little bit more manageable. How quickly does that drop off? Okay, so in the first 10 minutes on copper, that's nice. So in the first 10 minutes on copper, we have a high probability. Let's go up to the 5 minute and see whether that data drops. No. So 868 bullish candles. And we actually still see that with copper, our high and low of the hour is in the first 10 minutes. It's really good. Actually, even better, it didn't even drop in this first 6 minutes. So what I've done is I've increased the segments to 10, right? 60 minutes, divide by 10, 6 minutes. So each segment's a 6 minute segment. So in the first 6 minutes, we expect copper to put in its high or low for the hour. So obviously when after the first 6 minutes, you can mark the high and low. And then when we take one of them, you've already got a 64% sort of directional bias of when it might come in. This is amazing. Copper's a nice one, really nice. Let's look at the highs and lows coming. So obviously if we're bullish, we want to see the high coming in. So 43% in the last 10 minutes. So yeah, that last half hour kind of spreads out. It's fairly similar, and the bearish is fairly similar. So in the last 20 minutes, obviously bearish is up at 60%, and close with the bullish as well in the last 20 minutes. So highs and lows. It's nice. Let's have a look at Euro USD then. Interested to see where the copper transitions. Lots of sells, no buys. Sell, sell, sell. This is interesting. Choppy, because we're in corrective. Don't expect clean price action when we're in corrective. We'll see. Let's go to Euro USD. Do you want 6E or Euro USD? We can do it on Euro USD. I don't want to use Trader Bait. I just want to use them all. Go away, Trader Bait. Euro USD. Used a Wanda. Bing, bing, bing. So obviously a higher time frame is bullish, although we have come way under here. So I'd expect this is looking nice from a corrective bullish, that the algo might go straight to a bearish. So we'll go, obviously when we're in corrective bullish, we can either go back to bullish or we can go to bearish. We can't go corrective bearish. It is interesting, yeah. We obviously still haven't transitioned yet, so we still haven't got a weak trend. So until we see that weak trend, then potentially we're like here, we start seeing that weak, and then it goes back to we come back above, right, and get that continuation. Once we see the weakening and then the transition, then we can expect that, right? Weakening, transition, and then that's where we get that move. Be interesting to see whether we return to the open, right? So, yeah. Let me just hide the hours. There's our open, right? So we break the low here. We break the low in segment 3, which gives us a 52% probability of returning to the open. Doesn't mean we have to. Right now, there's a 96% probability this is our high for Euro USD this hour. And a 46% probability that this low is going to go. Yeah. I mean, kind of one of the things that I got out of was I can have a think, I can have a bias, but I just wait for everything. Obviously, if whatever I think, all of this has to happen for me for that to happen. So if I think bullish, then obviously we have to see all of the stuff that I'm looking for on the hourly for it to go bullish. So it's from a kind of mental game, it really helps me to remove that being right and wrong, because I can have my own ideas, but I don't act upon those ideas. I wait for everything to align for me to then take that trade. No, so it's basically saying to you, high is in. So what is the percentage that this is the high? So there's it's 96% this is the high. Yet to come, low yet to come. So there's a 46% probability the low is yet to come this hour. So it's showing you if we are bearish, there's a 96% probability that this is that by this time in the hour, all highs had been put in for bearish, right? Our sell signal gives us that early indication that we are bearish, right? We are corrective bullish, so there's a higher probability of this hour being bearish with the algo as well. And obviously from a statistic point of view, it's more likely this is the high than that's the low. Yeah, so everything's pointing. Doesn't mean it has to. There's still 3.2% probability that we can get a high at this point. It's not impossible, just statistically we don't expect it. High yet to come. This one, it's just showing you if our bias was bullish, right? There's still a 43% probability of the high coming. So if we were bullish, 43% of bullish candles, the highs were past this point. But 97% of all the lows had already happened. So this is our segments broken into. Sorry, I'll change it around. We're on the hourly. Get rid of that. Let's put our segments on. Oh no! Don't be doing that. Segment 1. segment 2, segment 3, segment 4, segment 5. Okay? So, if we're bearish, our high is in segment 2, right? And you can see 14% of all the highs were in segment 2. Hey, what's up? 58% were in segment 1. So when we take that low, statistically, it's more likely that this is our high. So obviously when we combine enough confluences, we can get a good edge of what is going to happen, and then trade with those probabilities. We're trading with probabilities, not 100%, which means the majority of the time we expect to be right, not all the time. So Euro USD right now, we're still bullish. Trends coming back to bullish. We haven't got any transition. Bar going under. I'd be waiting to go long, right? High time frames bullish. We're corrective bullish. Don't see anything to tell me other than I wait. I am not shorting. I am waiting. I am waiting until everything aligns, right? Like here. Everything aligns. Transition. Go bullish. Let's go. Let's go back to NQ. Look at that. That would have been a nice little... and we take the low, right? So our 1-to-1 would have played out. And obviously we'd have risked a little bit there. We'd have had a cracking trade. Power of the data. Power of the data. Prediction table. Yes, certainly, sir. Okay, so ignore bias. Right now, obviously this is in beta. Bias isn't working, so ignore bias. We're just using this. What this is doing is it's automatically adding up this data for you. So as we go through the sequences, it's telling you, okay, highs are in. So if we're bearish, like this example, okay, we're looking at highs are in. So I'm going to zoom in on the hourly stats. Okay, so it's saying to you, we're looking at highs are in. So as we go through the segments, it's like, while we're in segment 1, we haven't gone through anything. As soon as we pass through segment 1, and that's completed, well, 48.85% of all the highs are in. Right? So, that means that there's a 51.x what percentage left where we had the high. Then when we pass through segment 2, we've now had 18.97% of all of our highs in already, right? So then that's showing us that, okay, we've now had 58%, 67% of all of our highs have already been in. So it's doing that math for you and letting you know what the probability is that the high is in and what the probability is the bullish in. So all that we need to do is have a directional bias, right? So the algo can help you with that when everything's confluence is aligned. When you get a buy and sell signal, that gives you that confirmation as well. So when we got the sell signal here, we were then obviously we're only looking at bearish probabilities, and it's letting us know, okay, what's the probability that we still have a low to come, and what's the probability that this is our high. So you don't have to do any of this math. It's doing it for you. All that you need to do is using the buy and sell buttons and the algo and combining it together is to get your bias and then use that data. Yeah, it's all back testable, right? So if I replay, I'm just going to go into full screen. I'm just going to move you. So I can play this forward, right? Do a 3-speed. I can play it forward, and my data starts increasing as my data changes. We get a sell signal, right? We get our sell signal. That is giving us your bearish probabilities. Algo yet still hasn't. It's still giving us a 50-50, but we're red, right? So everything plays out as it does in real time, right? So we come under, we then go into the next hour, we get a 50%, so the algo's not helping us, right? So we've got our hourly data, we start transitioning, so the trend goes weak. So everything like in live price action will play out for you in, so obviously by this point now, statistically, we're more likely to be bullish, so we can look at bullish. So right now we'd be like, okay, there's a 77% probability that this is our high and potentially this is more going. All plays out for you, right? So you can get used to it and trade however you want to trade. You can get used to all of the kind of data. Obviously the videos help you. But yeah, it's not just live. You can do it as we go. So you can see there, absolutely beautiful. The way we played it out, right? We expected we were going to go bearish due to being under a few other confluences early on, taking the lows, right? So, and then we expect what high probability our low to be in this hour. There was still statistical edge that it would. We come into that distribution section. Right, in the last two segments, you can see that this is where we get a lot of our distribution towards our directional bias. And we go bang. So, yeah. That was a great example of the data holding and price playing out. We go back red, so we've already now we're starting to transition. We're already starting to show that bearish action. Our trend AI is very strong. You know, like I said to it, we've come down. We might just be corrective. This might be the hour that we get that drop. We'll see. Or we can flip bullish, and then the data will tell us and everything will align and we'll be going bullish. Obviously, you don't like our best stuff to trade is during transitions, right? I use Ninja a lot. Would this be available on Ninja? Not yet. I use Ninja Trader as well. So, yeah, I am going to look to build a Ninja Trader. All of this on Ninja Trader. It's not going to be anytime soon, though. As we've only just launched, and obviously we're still going through optimization. So obviously this is a new update that's come, trying to make it easier for people to read the chart, to get the data without having to do the math, all that type of thing. So, you know, right now we're just trying to improve usability to make it as straightforward as possible to understand. It's like the algo. Like, you don't have to understand the algo if you're not, you know, like advanced people will do an advanced section on the algo, but realistically it's like, well, you're looking for high probability, so you really want to see things above 70%. If it's not above 70%, then that's not a confluence, right? Ideally, we want to see bearish or bullish, right? We don't want to see corrective. Corrective's not great. So we only want to be trading high probability price action. So right now, we're 59%. It's not high. It's not super high probability, right? Do we want more confluence than that? Possibly, right? So it's not about trading every single hour. It's about waiting for everything to align, right? And this is a confluence of everything combined together. Like, when we look at price, we do this. And then we get our move, right? We want to trade these moves. These nice pumps of price. And we don't want to trade this shit. Is it tradable? Yeah. Is it great? No. Does it cause a lot of anxiety? Yeah. How do we feel when we trade these? Amazing, because it just fucking pumps. And how much profit is available in this shit? Not as much as that. So we know when we start getting stuff like this, we're crossing the zero line. We've now gone bearish. You know, we've taken the low of the previous hour. Align, 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 align. Thanks very much. Confirming the data. Statistically, this is right. And see you later. We just want to trade the good stuff. Obviously, if you're a scalper, knowing what type of price action you're in, like, are we in corrective? Do I expect that the return to the open is going to be a lot more likely during a corrective period? Yeah. Do I expect to return to the open when I've got a distribution hour where price is going to go? No. And that's the kind of difference where we're going, is we are going to define the type of... So, like, for example, we can have a day where we can define it to say this is expected to be a corrective day. That means, you know, we expect to go not one direction forever, just more push and a retracement, push and a retracement. We might have a bias where overall we might go bullish, but it's a bit more of a choppy day, right? We might want to trade more of a range strategy or a return to the open strategy, things like that. But then when we get a sequence one of a higher time frame bullish and it's strong bullish, it's like, okay, right now we might want to trade more of a trend strategy. We can adapt to the market where the current conditions are now. And any time that I've seen price action, statistical based price action, where I see it kind of, the data sort of, where it struggles, it's when it's not with the current price action. So the data doesn't align as much because actually the higher time frame or the trend that we're in is bearish. We've had a confirmation bullish, but it's just, we're correcting in a bearish trend, and therefore it's just not aligning the way that it does, right? Data doesn't play up as well, and that's because we are in different price action, acts differently at different times. And long term, we want to be able to give you that kind of what you can expect from the markets today. And obviously the vision of where we'll be long term is a suite, you know, of where you can go online and it will give you examples of days or hours and what price action looked like for that particular sequence. Where was the high and lows in those sequences? How often did it return to the open? All that type of thing based on the sequence. So you know, during this hour, during this 2 hour, during this day, what can you expect? What's most likely to happen? That's the future. Right now we've got plenty. We have a statistical edge. We have a system. Any. It's based off historic data, so it doesn't matter. So for example, you can see here on the hourly, this is based off of the last 637 candles. The last 637 hourly candles that sequence 3 happened, 59% of them closed bearish. It's right now. So at some point, you just need to wait for the sequences that give you the... So I can go up to the 4 hour and, okay, right now on the 4 hour, we're corrective bullish. So of the 209 times we were corrective bullish, only less than 1% of them actually closed bullish, which means we have a much higher probability of being bearish for the next 4 hours, right? It's based off of what's happened right now during this price that we have, right? It's based off of that, not what happened 10 years ago. You can see it playing out now. So it basically, there is a, obviously what I've done is there's 80 different sequences, and it goes back in on the chart and finds all those different sequences, and obviously success is, it predicts bullish or bearish, etc., etc. If it happens, it's success. If it doesn't, it's failure, right? And we didn't, we predicted a bullish close. Well, only 0.96% when this sequence happened, the last 209 times, did it close bullish. So it's not, it's a confluence again. I kind of say that the algo is a combination of confluences. The whole reason why this came out as an indicator package together was because you need more. This is incredible and adds huge value, but you want it all combining. You want all your confluences combining, right? So trend AI, we're under the dynamic TPs under the 0 line. It's red. Then the hourly statistics, the data's adding up. So right now, if we are going to go bearish, we've got a 49% probability this is our high, right? Let's increase that just so I can get more real time. So right now it's a 41% probability, right? Because I've increased the number of segments, so it's more accurate. We have taken the low of the previous hour, and we did that very quickly on. So we have a very high probability of returning to the open here, okay? Unless we haven't... whoa. Let's put it back to the hourly. So we're bearish sequence 3. So let's put on our return to open. Okay, so in segment 1, we took the low, right? We took the low straight away. So there's a 78% probability that we will return to here, to the open. And we can go up time frames to increase that data. So yeah, of the 292 times, 75% of them returned. 97% failed. What do you think the 97% were? 97% were very strong pushes, right? When price really pushed. How do we know that? We get a strong bearish. Now, right now, we're not in corrective. We are in bearish. We'll see. What's interesting is our open is also our high. So I don't think we'll see that return, but we'll see. Because right now, we'd have to come back pretty soon, because there's a 53% probability our high is in, and as time goes on, that's going to go up very quickly. So, yeah, we'll see. So you can see why I made a real effort to rush this out, because I found the data actually confluences what we're doing. It's not, we're not trying to do something different. It's just adding value to the same way that we're kind of looking for how the hour's going to go. I'm a day trader, so obviously I think for me the hourly was just perfect. You get a big enough move on the hour as well to capture a nice trade. Or I'm going to have to change my image. 14-day trial is gone. Discount is gone. Boo boo. Yeah. It just does the math for you. At some point, it will do the bias as well. And then what I'd like to do is that once it's got its bias, it probably hides the other side. But right now, it's just making maths easy. And also what's really great about it is, obviously, like having 10 segments over here is a lot of data. So what it's meant is, but obviously 10 segments means it's more accurate right now up to price, because it's got more, it's broken it up into smaller pieces. So I can have this on 10 segments without it absolutely swamping my screen, right? So if I turn off return to open and I just put this back on, you can see I've got these 10 segments. Like, it's a lot of data, and that just simplifies it for me. I don't have to look at that. I can just go, it's every 6 minutes it's updating, instead of, if we've got 6 segments, it's every 10 minutes. So every 6 minutes now I'm getting an updated statistic. Yeah. So it's just made, especially on the lives, right? How often was I constantly going, right, we've just taken that high, we're now we're at we've got 73% or we've got 85%. Like, now I don't even need to do it. Correct. Once the segment's over. Yeah, as soon as that segment finishes, bam, it updates the data and says this is where we're at. So we'll see now, where are we, right? So we're 15 minutes in, so 6, 12, 18. So when we get to 18 minutes, we'll complete that third segment and the data will update, which means obviously again the high is going to increase. So if I put that table on, right, segment 3, so 6, 12, 18, we are 15. So the high, there's another 10%, right? So then this will go up by 10%. So we've hit our predicted low, right? Our 50%. Now we know with the predicted lows that if we put our prediction table in the top right as well, I'll just put that. No! Bottom right. I mean the mean table, let's put you top right. So if we show our mean data, just zoom in. So you can see that there's a 67% probability we hit that 50%, yeah? And then there's a 55% probability based on 97, and a 23% probability of price coming to that level. So obviously we've added the probability of the targets for you as well, so you know what that is. Ding, ding. How does everyone feel about the tables going? I might add an option so you can change them back to horizontal if you want, actually. I was thinking about that today because I've confused me switching back, but from a screen, kind of smaller screen point of view, it makes a lot of difference instead of it being lengthways, being vertical instead of horizontal. But I might add an option so that you can choose the layout. So, yeah. Yeah, okay. I do as well. Yeah. I'll add it in. I was looking at it like, oh my god, where's the high, where's the... Yeah, I will, I'll add the horizontals over there. So obviously what we're looking at now is this 76% probability we return to the open. But our open is our high for the hour there. Right? Is our high. So statistically, obviously, yeah. Get that done. Don't worry, I'll get that added. Oh, I understand. Okay. It's a lie sideways. So obviously we've got this probability of price coming back to our open. High probability. It's just... Look at that high. I mean, am I going to set a limit order here with a stop above here? I don't know. I mean, looks like we're starting to do that, right? We're starting to get that push back to the open. Maybe there's a 64% probability this is our high, right? We got 2 data. I'm going to do it. I'm just so curious. I'm going to do it. Hang on. Hang on. Where have you gone? There you are. I don't think it's going to come, right? So we'll risk $25 for what could be an interesting trade if it does. Ah, it's coming back now. Coming back down. It was, I mean, obviously, to get back there, it'd be interesting to see what it does. I mean, obviously, we could flip back bullish, at which point, you know, if we put a low in the middle, we could maybe kind of come back towards the open at the end of the hour, but we'll see. $15 is below the 0 line. 30 seconds below. There's our sell signal. There's our 50%. So we've got an 83% probability our low is yet to come. We have a 64% probability this is our high. We're bearish with a 59% probability of closing bearish. Possible this just might go. We've already had a retracement here. It's gone quite far. We've dribbled down quite far. So obviously from a risk point of view, you know, like this was a little bit easier from a risk point of view compared to this, but this might be the trade that I was waiting for that big drop. We'll see. I'm interested to see, obviously, because of the higher time frame, not the hourly, is bearish. So if I zoom out again, right, bearish, corrective. I was expecting that at some point we might carry on, right? Take this low maybe. And also you can see there, look, the 15-minute crossing over and down. I'm expecting Maybe it'll be New York. Maybe New York will flip it the other way. We'll see. Again, what I expect isn't what I trade. I wait for everything to align. If it plays out, great. If it doesn't, you know, I didn't guess it. I just waited. You know when you're feeling the itch? Don't chase. I want to jump in, but I'm not going to. See you later. If not by magic. If we hadn't dribbled down so far, I would have taken that trade. Well done, Alexander. Obviously, I'd be looking for this low. Take some profits, always. Can you see how the return to high, there's times when it's times when it's right and times when it's not. And it's the time when we want to trade is also the time a lot when we're getting these big pushes where that return to high won't happen. Trader 27, all right, buddy? Good morning. So we've hit our average hourly. Remember our 4 hour that we went up to showed what? What did our 4 hour show? Showed a high probability of closing bearish. We predict bullish at 0.96%. Higher time frame bearish. Remember what I said? Higher time frame is bearish because we've had this move down. Potential corrective phase. Transition. Letting us know that potentially this is now over. And actually, what we expect to go down. If we expect to carry on with the higher time frame, we expect this low to go. Right now we have transitioned. We are bearish. We are thinking bearish. We are thinking downwards until it changes and then we think upwards. The whole guessing and I think is taken out of this. My opinion doesn't matter. Only what the data shows. That's what I like about it, right? That's why I feel better when I trade this, because it's not about me being right and wrong. It's about the data being right and wrong. Not me. Let's go back to our 1 hour. Big strong push up. Obviously we've taken the low. So obviously if we were to look at this in a higher time frame, maybe we could have our high and low data, right? So potentially if this is a low, we might have a high up here. So CL might be switching as well. So remember guys, if we're going to go, there's the sell signal. I didn't have that on, did I? I've turned it off. So statistically now there's a 74% probability that this is our high, right? We do potentially have a 1-to-1. We are edging up. 15 seconds still below. Below. There's a 78%. There's a 78% probability of taking the low. So we're right in there. We are 2:30. We have our open. Let's see what New York does. Obviously high volatility kicks in, which is why I don't trade. And the open is as well. Will we get our return to open? Will we flip bullish? Remember our transition, so we've gone bearish, right? If we then transition back to bullish, we're then looking longs, right? Until we get that, we're still looking shorts. I don't know how many times it switches because it totally depends on the current price action of where it is. So if you're in a very strong trend, it won't switch. It's just an indication. So like right now, during all that pull up, it's not switching. It's keeping to it. So when you're in a, when the algo starts switching, you can see that you're in potentially a transition period where maybe you're going from corrective to bullish. So for example, we obviously every trend, whatever the trend is, right, a corrective trend, a bullish trend, a range, everything has to end, and at some point you have to transition into a different trend. So what the algo has to do, it has to transition. At some point we have to change, and those, when you're seeing it starting to flip between it, that's showing you that potentially we are on a potential trend point of view. Obviously trend AI is there to kind of help you, give you that bias. Look, you know, like we've pushed up with New York, our bias was still bearish until we see that change, right? So we have got our statistical edge. We kept our high, we took our low, right? You know, that's what we were potentially expecting, right? We're now 81% probability, we're saying this is our high. There's the text. Right? So the algo is backing up with those confluences. The algo is a confluence. It's not an entry tool, it's a confluence. Wasn't that fabulous? And the algo is helping to give you the current type of price action you're in. So we're not in a corrective price action, we're in a bearish price action, but we are in a higher time frame, bullish on the hourly. Why is the hourly bullish? Because obviously during this period, we've been correcting upwards, right? So the hourly switched bullish, but we know the higher time frames are still bearish. If we go up to the 4 hour, the higher time frames are bearish because of obviously that big move down. So what will happen is the hourly will go bearish, and then the hourly will switch bearish to match with the higher time frame as well. And we'll expect that move down, right? The point being is when you trade everything combined, the algo sticks, doesn't change. When you see the hourly adding up, the dynamic TP, we get a transition bearish, right? Just got to wait. Was this my opinion? No. It was everything that you've got in these tools. It's everything you've got. We transitioned bearish. What happens when we get a transition? We often get a large push, right? Transitions are a beautiful thing. Transition, bearish, woo! Right. Everything that I've put together for you complements each other. It's everything combined. They all help add that confluence. It's a whole stack of confluences. And they are shit hot. Where people will go wrong is if that they look at this and just go, they don't add everything together. That's why I've put the colours on my chart, because I just want to show people, instead of it, I want it to be like very clear. Red. Did we go blue at any point? Did this change blue at any point? Was this pointing up at any point? Did this say we were going bullish with a high probability with everything else? No. Statistically, the hour gave us our high, right? Am I upset that what I was hoping to be able to get in on is happening? No, it's okay. We catch these all the time with Max Algo because this is what it's built to do. Built to catch these moves. I don't want to trade a range. I don't want to trade Troppy. I want to trade this and make fucking bank. It's a shame because obviously I took this trade and obviously left it running for here and went break even, got took out, and then I was hoping to be able to get in on here, but it's what it is. We got some profit today. I'm happy with that. We talked through this, you know, played out as we spoke. Played out with the probabilities. So as you can see now, we've got a 62% probability that this is our low. So we are still have a good chance of going down a little bit more. Doesn't have to, but still a good chance. Did we take the low? We haven't taken the low yet, right? We haven't taken the low. Are we going to? What do you think? Are we going to take the low? What if on the higher time frame, that's a previous higher time frame low, we take that low, and on the higher time frame we return to the open of wherever it is? It is a low on a higher time frame period somewhere. Should we try and find it? What do you reckon it is? What do you reckon that is? What, a day? Was that yesterday? Thursday. No, it's 2 days. Oh, well, that's yesterday's low, isn't it? Sunday. So we've taken Sunday low, Friday low here. So we've taken that. How's everyone starting to get used to, you know, seeing the repetition of things play out, right? What I like about kind of what we do is it's that repeatable, consistent, same thing over and over again. That's what I think is really, really great about it, is that we're repeating the process. We're looking for our hour to give us statistical edge, our algo, our trends, you know, like it's just, and there's no bias in it, right? So my background was SMC, I was in Photon for quite a while. Market structure was always the thing that everyone debated. I think that's the high, I think that's the low, I think that was enough of a pullback. Right? We all end up with different opinions of what we think is and what we think isn't. And like with this, it's just, that's the high. That's the low of the hour. No question. Can't argue it. So we failed to take that low. Maybe it's just come back up to take out some people and then continue on down, or maybe that's far enough. We don't want to take the low. Right now we're still sitting at a 62% probability of the low going down. ES, we're seeing the changes on ES. Yeah, same thing on ES. Transition bearish. I mean, can anyone see a buy signal there? I can't. That's a great trade in ES as well. That was the earlier trade. Much tighter on our stop, that one as well, which would have been nice. And our low in our last quarter. Coming under. Beautiful. Let's have a look at CL. Bit messy, CL. What are we in? Corrective bullish. Corrective bullish. We are expecting, until we see a weakened trend completely, we are expecting what? Continuation. We've been bullish. We start correcting bullish. Until we take that low, for a lot of people, we are still bullish. Structure is still bullish. It's corrective. The algo is telling you it's corrective. Not only is it giving you the probability, what sort of price action do we get? Shitty up and down. Shitty up and down. Shitty up and down. Then we switch back to bullish. What do we expect when we get bullish? See you later. High at the beginning, low at the beginning, high at the top. Bang. The algo not only is your prediction, it's your market like price action. Let's go, CL. You're going to switch back bullish and you're going to just disappear. Maybe we can get a sequence 1, right? What do we transition to? We transition to a sequence 1. Yes. Yeah, when we get that beautiful alignment, it's like clear. And everything is data backed, right? Everything is data backed, not opinion. My opinion. It's got nothing to do with me. I could die tomorrow and this is still going to carry on for you. And it's still going to give you all the data and the stats. I don't want to die tomorrow. It's a bit excessive. But this is the point. Like, it's nothing to do with me, right? You don't need me. You have everything with you. You got all the data. It's not my teachings. It's this. It's all this. We take the high of the current hour at the end of the sequence. I love it when we take the low and then come back and take the high. That hurt my feelings. Why? What have I done? What did I say? What have I done? Oh. Come on, NQ. Was it this? Little fucking midgets. So close. I mean, so close. Nah, man. Hanging in there. Are we going to get to the open? Oh my god. Is the return to the open going to play out? Holy moly. I'm only 41. Sure, I'll be fine. It's my eldest's birthday today. She's 15. So I won't be staying on maybe another half hour. We're celebrating her birthday. 15 years old, grumpy teenager. So what I'd like to see with CL, right? So we come down, we take this low, come take this high, is we want to see coming back to that sequence 1, higher time frame bullish, come above the 0 line, start coming up, you know, get all of our data aligned, and then potentially we could maybe we could see a nice trade in CL. But we've got our first step, right? Ooh, that's our hour. So we've taken the low. Sorry, there's the high of the previous hour. Ooh, 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 ooh. So I'd have liked CL to take that one. That's this current hour. So we've obviously flipped into taking the high. So yeah, we wanted CL to really take this high. Needs to come above the 0 line. Keep an eye on it. Yeah. Maybe gold might. Still strong on the trend though, so we need to see that transition. That was one hell of a comeback, right? So ES already did its return to open. Yeah, here's the open price. Oh, no, it didn't. There's its open. It's also the same thing as the other one. That's its high as well, right? I gotta see this. Whoa. Oh. I mean, do we? Possibly. We get some big wicks. Maybe we plow through them. We are bullish. It's hell bullish. What is that? Who's drawn that? We've got 10 minutes. %93 high. So again, what I'm seeing is, guys, with the return to the open, it's great data, but a lot of the trades that we take, the setups we're looking for, it doesn't happen as often. And obviously, what we will do is profile this data based on those, you know, when we're getting those sequences. But it's still good data to have. Very interesting. Especially for like capturing one-to-ones or getting an entry maybe off it, things like that. I'm very interested to see how this goes. Helps with the trading. I think this is, for me, like helping with entry. Maybe catching some snipe entries off of the open, things like that. I am interested. Where's YM? That was my trade on Friday. Just caught a 1-to-1 at the end of the session. YM is still in a weakening trend, not fully transitioned yet. That'll be interesting. Filled the gap. No, didn't fill the gap. Gold might flip bullish. CL. Still corrective. We've been. So I just want to. Does someone want me to give a quick explanation of what a sequence is? So obviously, I feel like I'm going to do it anyway. I've spoke about the different types of corrective bearish, right, and what that price means. Sequence is very similar to kind of like segment. It's just how many periods So right now we're an hour, right? So we're looking at hour sequences, and we have a bearish sequence, and it's just how many hours of that sequence have been. So for the last 3 hours, we've had bearish price action. Or sorry, for the last 2 hours, and this current hour will be our 3rd hour of bearish price action. So it's just, a sequence is just how many times of that you've had. That's all it is. It's just counting. We've had bearish action for 5 times now, like 5 sequences, 5 hours, 5 days, 5 minutes, whatever you set the time frame to, it represents that time period. The sequences are just that. Here, I'll give you a good example of, okay, so we're bearish, right? So what are the possibilities for being bearish? So we can either, the algo will either go to corrective bearish, right? Or it'll go to higher time frame bearish and then strong bearish, which means that we flipped bearish and we were able to then change the higher time frame as well. So for example, if we're bullish on the higher time frame, we can't flip the higher time frame until we go bearish, right? So we go bearish, then we start flipping the higher time frame. So you have kind of like, unless we get really like a news event or something really strong, obviously if it went like CPI and pumped, it would go straight from bearish to bullish. But generally speaking, through price action, you get that transition. Bearish transitions to corrective bearish. Corrective bearish is where you get your indecisiveness, right? So when we're corrective, we can either, so say we're corrective bearish, we can either go to bullish, so we then, the trend then stops, right? So an example of that would be, we go bearish, we start correcting bearish, very similar to what we're at now, right? And then price carries on, right? So this is the corrective phase, and that is the bullish phase. Now the other way is down, right? So we go bearish, we go corrective bearish, and we continue with the trend back to bearish. So the algo has gone bearish, now we're corrective bearish. I have 2 options. I can either go bullish or I can go bearish. So at some point the algo will go, now we're starting to change bearish, now we're in a sequence 1, 2, 3. Yeah? So when you're in a corrective phase, that's kind of like your point of where we're going to go. And the trend AI should give you that kind of, hopefully that kind of, well, will give you that kind of directional, where when we have a strong trend, it's more likely that we're going to go bearish. When we get a transition, that's where a lot of the time then, okay, now we're gonna get that. We're not going to carry on bearish. We're going to flip and go bullish. Yeah. I've just met up with T-Bone. We had a couple of hours just talking about how to get the information as clear as possible. So that explanation I've just been through on the algo is going to be a PDF. He's there looking at it now, and it's going to show you kind of like, if you're in this sequence, what are the expected what are the expected options that you could flip between. I think kind of like if you're a newcomer to trading, then just focus on high probability matching with all the other confluences and don't worry about what these mean. That's more of an understanding of how the market, yeah, because then it's the first time you've seen that sequence, right? Because obviously it's, if we're in corrective and we go to bearish, it's the first time we've gone back bearish again, so it goes back to a sequence 1. and then carries on. So obviously the way you should look at it is like, when we get a transition, this is the first time, right, we've had a bearish price action. So obviously the longer the trend's been going, yeah, all right, get the count. Perfect. Perfect. So sometimes we might flip back bearish for a push down, and then you might only get 2 sequences, and then that trend's coming to an end. We go corrective bearish, flip bullish, and start going. Last minute of the hour. If price gets choppy, we'll obviously trade what we see, right? If we go to corrective bearish, then it's not ideal. Okay, there's our hour finished. We start our new hour. We already taken the high. Just wicked the high of the previous hour. I don't know why I don't just highlight. Oh, because I've turned off the high and low data. So, although we didn't take the low, obviously we hit our 2 hourly target lines. This is why we take profit, right? I was aiming for the low, but I took a partial at this low. Took my risk off, got taken back out, but still got my profit, got some profit. Good question, Dean. Depends. So obviously, if you get a sequence one that matches the higher time frame, then no. A lot of the time, sometimes a sequence one, like for example, sometimes you'll see like this, will push down, and then maybe we'll flip, and the sequence one will confirm at the end. So you're going straight into a sequence 2 anyway. But no, I like sequence 1s. I don't shy away from them. If everything aligns, if I'm in a sequence 1 and I get my sell and everything aligns, I'm taking it. Sequence 1s, when they happen early on, if you go back, right, use your replay and find your sequence 1s, you will see the data of the hourly playing out a lot more. You will see price at the top, if we're bearish, price at the bottom, because they're usually very strong candle, like very strong pushes. So especially if they aren't with the time frame. So a lot of the time, for example, you'll get a sequence 1, say it's not aligned, and you move into a bearish sequence 1 in a higher time frame bullish. You might get a strong push down, like this, and then you're not getting that full continuation because we're not yet with the higher time frame, right? So you get your push and then you get your pullback, and your sequence 2 might fail, and then you're reverting back to going bullish. So not necessarily, no. It only updates once we return to the open. So like, obviously that failed. It should have updated. It's a good question. Don't know. That was quite a long day yesterday putting the data together. So that's why it's in beta. That updated. Are you sure it just didn't do it sneakily? See that? Look around here, right? Bing. So I don't think we take any high and low during this hour. So obviously we haven't taken a high or low, so there's no data to collect. We do take the low of that hour in sequence 1, right? In the first sequence. Yeah. Just more dangerous. That's why we don't talk about it yet. Hang on. Yeah. So it was bearish and that one updated. So I'm not seeing that issue. I'm seeing it updating. Not seeing that issue. Let's see the world. It's working for me, as it should. Can you trade using the seconds? Yeah, you can. But I don't promote it because I think you've got to be have a really good understanding of kind of how quick, because it moves so fast, how it all aligns. But yeah, you can, yeah. So obviously we take, this is a good example of like the data, right? So we take the high of the previous hour and return to the open. Like that data is done, right? That's an example of the data being added together. Well, of course we did, because we opened right by the high, right? It's just dead easy to get back to the open. It's right there, instead of like here when we're so far down. We got close to it, but anyway. I don't recommend it, no. I won't recommend it because I can't, like, unless you, it's an experience thing. If you're experienced with the lower time frames and how fast price moves and you're confident in seeing it that quickly, then yeah, but it's not how I trade, so I've kind of tried to create what I think is our best option. So you can see here now we're getting that corrective bearish, right? We failed to put in that low in the last segment, so potentially that bearish push now coming potentially to an end. So now the algo's saying, okay, this looks more like a corrective phase. We want everything else to confirm it, right? So trend is now going to a strong trend. It's not yet weak. We've gone blue, so we're still under, but we're just waiting. We want to see our hourly data give us a statistical edge, but so right now. The algo works exactly the same on every time frame. It's just how quickly you can combine and understand on the seconds chart how far price moves, right? So the reason why we're using the hour is because it's giving enough price movement for what I'm looking for when we get our moves to get a trade and get in, right? But obviously like a 1 minute chart, if I was just trading 1 minute charts, the average move of a 1 minute chart is much, much smaller. So you just need to understand there's a lot of complexities to understanding the impact of price, time, and realistically how much can time move during that time frame that you're on. Obviously for me, like when I trade the lower time frames, I'm more looking for the lower time frame to align. Maybe like for a snipe entry, I'm looking for it to align with the higher time frame, right? So I might go down to the 15 second now and go, okay, well the 15 second has gone red, but we are above and we've gone bullish, right? So if this is to go down for the hour, this is going to have to go under here to then get the rest of it changed. Yeah. How many contracts? Depends on the risk. Right. Define your risk, then define your contracts. If I had the same stop loss every single time, then I could use the same contracts. Depends on, as well, like there's different people trade different way. People DCA and they don't have a stop loss. Might have like a max loss, but I always have a stop loss when I trade, because obviously I'm trading with a statistical edge of where I think the high is going to be, right? So right now, if we take this low, we still only have a 41% probability that the high is in. So we don't have a statistical edge yet, right? So that, taking that low, gives us a 41% probability that's our high. That's not an advantage yet. It's not an advantage yet. So my stops go... My stops go behind where statistically I don't expect price to go to, right? Doesn't mean it can't. Hang on. Yeah, so my stops go between where statistically I don't think price will go to. Doesn't mean it can't go there, it's just that's how I use it. So like for example here, yeah, we had a high probability that this was our high for the hour. So if I was to take that trade, my stop would be behind here, because statistically that's where it needs to be, right? So when I took this trade, I accounted for that being the risk that I wanted to use, right? I think I was 10 contracts on the MQ, so one on NQ, and then I took 5 off here and let the rest run, put my stop to break even, just in case that was the push for price. So obviously right now, if we take that low, we then have a statistical edge, only a slight one, but that's our high. we have taken our bullish previous candles high. So obviously for me, market structure has switched. And it's about all the confluences, right? So market structure shifts, but we start having a higher probability of being bearish, then we don't have everything aligning, right? We're under and correcting. We still don't have everything aligning, right? So obviously if my 15 seconds starts coming under the 0 line, then that will give me more confidence in the shorts. I think where people struggle with stop losses, I think it's kind of too tight, get wicked out. The more experienced you get, I mean, obviously there are people who are really, really experienced, who can snipe entries, which is amazing. But that's experience. Not everyone can do it, right? With this, it's got, pardon my French, fuck all to do with experience. It's just data. Everybody can know that there's a what percentage probability this is your high, and put your stop there. It's not based on my experience of my time on the charts, and that's why I created this. It's creating a fair playground, if you like, for everybody to get a foot in. And then as you build up that experience, then yeah, you can get better at knowing where you might want to place your stops. But till then, you know where statistically your stop is okay, right? Okay, so our statistics are going up. So if we take this high now, we expect this to have a 65% probability of being our low. So bearish is still not in favour yet. Still too close to 50-50. See the algo starting to switch to that corrective. Doesn't matter whether it's switching because it's saying bearish, but we're waiting for everything to tell us it agrees with bearish. Our trend AI is fine. It's still weak. We'd like to see that start flickering red as we start going down, stronger red as well. We haven't had a weakness yet. Our EMAs have crossed, so we've got one negative. We've got two negatives. We've broken market structure, so we haven't got everything aligned for bearish anyway. So sit on your hands. Let's have a look at ES. So ES takes the high, similar situation. We haven't taken the low of this hour though. So if we take this high, that gives us that favourable in the buy, in the longs. We are transitioning. We do get a weak. Let me just check. Trend AI is right. 1 hour. Yes, yes, yes. So obviously we are transitioning back bullish on ES, right? So we transition bearish. Failed right now to continue with that trend, which is a good sign that we might be bottoming him, double bottoming him out, right? Go bullish, flip back bearish, fail to continue with that trend. Start potentially transitioning. We're not yellow yet, so we haven't fully transitioned. So potentially, if that transitions and we get that bullish transition and we come up over the 0 line, could be a nice long on ES coming. CL, we failed to come up above the 0 line. We continue. We start seeing now we're getting a yellow transition, a weakening of the trend. So we failed to take that high, which is what we wanted to see. Well, not that one, it was that one. So we did take the low, which gave us the bearish. We didn't yet have the bullish. So instantly we've already taken that low, right? We've already returned to the open. So right now, there's a 59% probability that this is our high for CL. Like a little bit more statistics on that, right? So CL transitions, maybe we can see bearish action on there. Gold still sitting strong on the bullish side. Maybe we might just chop around, up, up, and down. We are corrective bullish. If we flip bullish, then maybe we'll see some action. Okay. So we take the high. We flip bullish on candle structure, obviously. We're bullish. And now we've got a 75% probability that this is our low. We've already returned to the open. We don't need to do that. We still have an 88% probability that we can make a new high. We're corrective bearish. So obviously this has gone into being obviously high probability of closing bullish now. We're starting to have those confluences align, right, for the bullish side. Market structure's bullish. EMAs have gone bullish. Starting to see weakening of the trend. We're starting to come up towards that zero line. The 15 seconds has gone bullish again, right? That was our... We needed that to come under before we were bearish. We went bullish again. Seeing that transition, seeing it come up to the zero line. Come on then. Let's nice. I mean, obviously, statistically, it's in our favour. So, let's see. Just going to look to take a... see if we do get one. I'll get the retracement. It's all right. So what's good about this now is, right, so say for example, okay, I've got my limit order on, okay, at what point does this become invalid, right? So we're bullish, we've got a buy signal, we're coming up to that zero line, we've got high probability now of being bullish, that aligns with everything that we expect, we're starting to transition, starting to go weak, still early, but... So we can look at our one-to-one and what have we got? We've still got an 88% probability of the high yet to come and 75% probability of the low not being in. So if I'd have got tagged in then, statistically, everything's in my favour, right? Might just moon. But it's not yet. We'll see what happens when we take those highs, right? Might just take that high and... take that high? Not yet, no. Now we have. Maybe we get a little bit of retracement or it just goes. Remember, when we come up over those zero lines, a lot of the time we get a nice strong move. It's just gonna go. It's just gonna go. Bye. Stop it. Where was that thing that let me... So, we still have an 81% probability of another high, right? Not super strong when we cross the zero line. Yeah, think about like this one. That's where we cross and then we drop. So, maybe I'd like to see a little bit more. You see, as price moves and decides where it wants to go, how the hourly and the data, they just keep us aligned, right? Keep us aligned. Stats for the day. New York or total day? Do you want New York stats or total day? Including this morning. Total. Which stats would you like? I'm asking you loads of questions. Sorry. Do you want the hourly stats or do you want the algo prediction? Do you want the high and low stats for the hour? Where potentially what the probability is of the low being in and the high being in for the hour? Or do you want both? You can have all of it. I just want to see if I get tagged in, but then I'll start wandering around. So I'm just going to... What am I doing? That's what I'm doing. So we're expecting bearish. That was our open, right? So we put a high in. So I'd probably say, statistically, we're more likely to be bearish, right? So on the daily, what have I done? What have I broken? What's this? Oh yeah, that's on hours, that's why. What's that? Return to open. I don't want to see that. So what I would say is, right now, if we're bearish, there's still a good probability we could take this high, right? On the daily. Oh, I've traced one trade. Sorry, man. One trade. I'm up. Made my win. This is me. If it takes me in, this will be my second trade. Not minutes, hours. So statistically, we're bullish, right? So there's still a 76% probability we could have a new high. This was my trade before. Here, I set partial at the lows, and then the rest got taken out while I was messing around. But that's fine. Keep thinking that green line is our 50% and I'm on it. It was nearly. Where's me Vibs? No. Bollocks, what have I done with them? Can't remember what they're called. Never mind. I like that. That was filled. Oh, I love that. So ES would have been I'd have loved the ES trade a little bit more. So you see this open Vib here, right? I'd have had that on there. Potentially could have had me stop behind here. And then I'd be looking for a new high. Or obviously we'd go the 1-to-1 just below. That's much nicer. Obviously if we're on ES, we'd have been tagged in right now. Still a 76% probability that we take this high. NQ is going. Do I want to get tagged in now after failing to come up and take the high? Don't know. Possibly. Possibly. We're 34 minutes in, so we are into the side of where we're getting to the point where we expect we're going to go up, right? We've done our retracements. We expect to start putting in our highs. Still not yet transitioned. Sorry. As the probability for the high starts dropping, we get to the point where we take our limit order off. Right? Because obviously what we've got is a statistical edge that our low is in, and a statistical advantage that our high is not. The moment that starts getting to a point where the one-to-one's not viable, we remove the limit order. I have got it on 10 segments, haven't I? Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. Oh, gold crosses the 0 line. So obviously we might see gold go from corrective bullish into bearish. Might get a sequence 1. Maybe. So we're still corrective bullish on CL. We haven't yet. We've got that weak trend. Be interesting to see how it plays out. So that's what I was looking for. There's our VIB, right? Price comes into. Harder to see on NQ. And I haven't got the indicator to show me. I've removed it. I'll have to find it another day. And I think if we take that high, that'll be it. Remove my limit order, I'll be done. Let's see. You've got your return to open indicator now. You've got your auto stats. You know, I will work on the horizontal version, so we can get back to looking at horizontal data. And obviously, if you're in America, good luck tomorrow. Hope you get the outcome that you're hoping for. So you see how we come above now this 0 line, but we've not massively. We haven't had a huge run, right? So there's a 66% probability that our high is yet to come. Probability's dropping now, right? a little bit longer. And then I'll remove the limit order. We've still got a bit of data on our side, right? Still got a bit of property. Coming above is good for bullish. Coming below is bad for bullish. Obviously, right now, this isn't really ideal because obviously we haven't fully transitioned. But obviously we've taken the previous hour's high. That's what's missing. We've taken the previous hour's high. We've got data on our side from a statistical point of view. We've still got 66% probability of the high going, 90% probability this is our low for the hour. So it might be a case of we finish the hour without taking the high and I need to manage the trade, which is fine. Got close to getting taken in then. It's very close. I think 2 more minutes, and if we're not tagged in, then I'll take the limit off. Waiting for this data. I think it's going to update the next minute. I think it'll be a 2-minute candle. Think. Got 25 seconds left of this one. Obviously, I'd have been fine to be tagged in there. We just had data on our side to take the high. We were close, right? We were close. Okay, we get a new candle, and now we're still slightly in advantage, but not enough, I think. By the time it takes you in, that's dropping down. I'm almost at 50-50, and that's me out. So it'd have been fine if we'd have been tagged in there, but getting in now, it's still a 50-50 chance, but I want more, 60% is okay. When we start coming down, it's not favourable. Obviously, we'd have still not been tagged in. Now we'd have been tagged in. I mean, obviously it's a nice reaction to obviously we'd have been tagged in to the tick, right? And then price instantly goes the opposite direction. Is nice. See if we can take that high. Obviously, that's just the lazy boy setup, right? You get your buy signal. While the data's aligning, you're setting your limit order. And then obviously when there's not enough of a statistical edge, you remove your limit order. If you do that all the time, obviously you get your other sequences, you get other probability aligning, then you're going to come out a winner. Did I pussy out? What do you reckon? don't like trading close to sort of 15 minutes. Maybe 45 minutes sometimes I go to. Maybe I should have. Just don't like we haven't yet fully transitioned. We haven't got everything aligned. But still, if you kept it in and you took the trade, you know, I hope fingers crossed for you. Statistically, you know, you've still got more chance of it taking it. Slight more chance, but it's still in your favour. You know, if I got any closer now, I'd be at break even. Do we want to see price come and take this? No, I'd be at break even now. See if we can take that high. Yes, still hasn't taken the high. Come back to the open. Tag the open. So obviously here we get a strong bearish, right? But you don't get everything aligning. So this is where, statistically, the data for the hourly is bullish. You're getting an algo flipping. You're getting blue bullish. You've come above the zero line. You don't have everything aligning. Four-hour is potentially in a bullish sequence 1. Obviously, it's still early in the 4-hour. We've got our first hour. We don't have our 4-hour stats, right? Yet, giving us 100% confirmation yet. Only a 56% probability, and I'm not sure yet. We'd want to see this high go, giving us more confidence in the 4-hour. But 4 hours gone bullish. If the hours start aligning, then we could see a nice run for the next 4 hours. Again, you want to see highs go, this high go. If this high goes, then obviously that'll give you more probability as well, back in that this is the 4-hour low. Gold is nothing. Gold's looking more bearish. You see this low go in gold. That's again starting to give you that probability as time goes on. We want to see that low go, and that'll give us our 4-hour high. Otherwise, obviously, if that high goes, that gives us our 4-hour low. And then we'll see. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's your previous 4-hour low and your 4-hour high, right? So, obviously, if you take those, then you'll have your 4-hour return to... return, right? So you can see... No, that's our data up here, sorry. It's not our return. Don't worry about that. I'm not going to put it on now. Yeah, so gold's a bit corrective bullish. Statistically more bearish, right? We want to see that low go, and then the data will start giving you more clarity, more direction. Still early. Oh, sorry, hang on. That's crude oil. My apologies. We are on the wrong chart. Oh. Corrective bearish, so more statistically slightly in favour of bullish. But obviously, if we do come down, we could go back to bearish, but we'd want to see transition. I think we need to see a transition for gold for me. I want to see it go yellow. Yep. Why was that on CL? CL's on CL, yes. There goes the high. The 1-to-1 would have played out nicely. 4 hour now, statistically more bullish. Away you go. And that's it for me, guys. Short stream today. I'm going to go and celebrate with my daughter. And other than that, have a good day, and I'll catch you guys soon. Thanks for staying in. You later. Let's see. Yes, buddy. I'm probably just a tad bit sensitive to removing my stop, but anyway. Still had probability in our favour, right? Everything was aligning. No worries, buddy. Anyway, see you later, everyone. I will see you Thursday. Let's get the next couple of days, let everything lay out. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. And I'll see you Thursday. Other than that, I'm at the I'll be in the Discord. Obviously, you can ask me any questions. Other than that, appreciate your time, guys.